Hello, everybody. This is Brad Reed. I am a real life trader, and I'm here reminding you to be good. And by good, I mean get out of debt, achieve your financial dreams, and give generously to your community. I have the blessing of being joined by Angie Barbosa and my dad. How you guys doing?
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday. Yeah.
Angie
Oh, it's
Mazing
weekly
always,
Wednesday.
Hi, Ed.
Angie Mazing always has a happy voice.
She does. She's a happy lady. She makes us happy. Okay, I'm going to do something real quick. Before I jump into the markets, there is a new spreadsheet up at reallifetrading.com. If you click on articles, then scroll down to the bottom left, retirement calculator. There's a calculator down here that you can use to calculate what rate of return you need in order to hit your inflation adjusted retirement goals. And then you can go to your financial advisor or find a different one if you need to, but you can say, hey, look, this is the rate of return I need. Please help me hit it. And I will send a video that I recorded earlier today of how to do that in with the email this afternoon. Looking at the market, SPY had a very nice bullish candle today. So yesterday we were kind of wondering, hey, is this big bearish candle mean we're going to go sideways or retrace a little bit, or is it just a fluke? Today is, I guess it's an inside day candle, but the thing that I noticed is that we have really low volume here. The bullish volume is decreasing significantly, and the bearish volume, well, at least yesterday, is kicking in. Otherwise, it's decreasing to kind of flat. So I guess for me, the jury is still out on which way the market is going to go. And because the ultimate target is so close to where we would have to get in, I don't see a swing trade yet that I want to get in on, at least not on SPY. But for me, I guess the jury's still out. I think we go sideways to pop. We do have a close above this pivot line. So I guess that's a long way to say I am neutral to slightly bullish on the market. This low volume lends me to believe that this big candle is not as convincing as it otherwise would be. So I would say more neutral, maybe slightly bullish, but yeah, if there was any money in a 207 bull put spread, I might entertain it, but that's really far away and there's not going to be any money down there. So let's keep on looking to the DIA. Dow Jones Industrial had a very interesting candle. We did gap up today like the SPY, but this one gaps up above this pivot point. This pivot point's pretty old. I'm not sure how important it is anymore. I would be more tempted to move that line up to there, maybe. But notice it did come down to the 50 exponential and it did go up to the 10 exponential. So it's a balanced day. Any bearish traders may be closing out their positions since we did come into the 50 exponential moving average. It is on low volume, which basically means we could do just about anything tomorrow. I would not be surprised if we pop bullish or if we pop bearish, but I believe if we gap up tomorrow, especially if we gap above the open of today, we're in for another bullish run up until the previous high or maybe even a higher high. So if you are a day trader or a very short-term swing trader, watch for a gap up tomorrow on SPY or the DIA. If we have a gap down tomorrow below this 50 exponential moving average, then I would be more bearish than bullish. So again, for the day traders and the short-term swing traders, a gap down, and I would continue in that direction down to the 100 simple. Yeah, that would be my trading plan. I know there's lots of longer-term swing traders that watch this, but I wish I had something more interesting for you. Let's just see if there would be a any money in a DIA 178 bull put spread. Options expiration May 29th. Man, I cannot believe how fast that's coming up. Wow, it's been a long time since I've looked at the Yahoo option chain. These must be call. Oh yeah, calls. These are the puts. Thank you. 178 down here. Yeah, 178. We can't sell anything for 3 cents and hope to get any kind of money. In order to get anything resembling a decent return, we'd have to get as tight as 180. And 180 is there. It appears that the market makers are more bullish than bearish. The market makers look like they are optimistic that we go higher, but 180 is way too close to risk on a bull put spread, so I will not be doing anything similar to that. QQQ did have a much more convincing candle on much more convincing volume, so that may be another reason why we are more bullish than bearish on the DIA and the SPY. I mean, this is just getting really close to the all-time high. Let me draw a line up here at 111.16. Yeah, so we're real close to that. Shave top candle so far. We still have another hour in the day. Yeah, okay, sorry, looking at the high and the low, and we are a penny off the high of today. So based on the cues, I would be more bullish than bearish. Looking forward tomorrow, and a 108. Yeah, 108 bull put spread might not be the worst thing in the world. How's that for ringing endorsement for a trade? So we come over here to May 29th. We're looking for puts, and we're looking for 108. And again, we can't really sell anything for 2 cents and hope to gain a profit. We'd have to get as tight as 110 to make any money. Actually, 110 is quite a bit of profit. I'd do 109.50 based on the profit, but 109.50 again is super, super tight. So I'll be passing on that one. But based on the cues, I am more bullish, slightly more bullish than bearish, but overall I'm pretty neutral on the market, at least for tomorrow. The Russell 2000 also has a much more bullish picture than the DIA or SPY. I'm going to take this pink line off of here, which was kind of my line as to when I need to start considering bearish positions. We're not going to get there for quite a while, I believe. I'm just wanted to take a look at the volume, and I think this is just everything resting just for kicks. I'm going to go check out Stokes and RSI. And I would really love for that to go away. Thank you. Yeah, RSI has plenty of room to go up, actually, or down. Stokes are kind of rolling over, but what in the world is this? That looks like divergence. I'm trying to figure out if in my mind if, yeah, okay, I'm not quite so optimistic now. Today may be just a rest, sideways. I did not see that. Now I want to go back and check the others. No divergence there on the DIA or the SPY. Everything looks healthy. So I guess I'm back to going just kind of neutral on the market as a whole. but I would not go bullish on IWM based on that formation. Questions, thoughts, opposing views? Go ahead and type them in. And let's see, I'm going to take that thing off of there. And let's go take a look at some of the stocks we were looking at yesterday, seeing if there's anything we want to look at for a bear call spread. Now, I wish Netflix had made a little bit of a bearish candle. We were, I think we drew this line saying we had noticed some divergence on the oscillators. Tell you what, yeah, I know we did, but I'll just show the picture in case someone did not see the video from yesterday. And here it is. This kind of action over in here. This RSI, and to some degree, I'm really stretching it to draw that line there. In fact, I'm not going to do that at all because Stokes has not yet formed another peak. Once it forms another peak, we can connect the peaks. But yeah, I do see a little bit of divergence on RSI. All that means is that the momentum is slowing down. It doesn't mean it's going to break bearish. It doesn't mean it's going to go sideways for months and months. It just means, hey, the momentum's kind of running out. It could certainly pick back up. It could go back down. It could do all kinds of stuff. But this says to me now is not the time to go bullish on Netflix. So if it's not time to go bullish, is it time to take a bearish, to do a bear call spread? And this candle today, I would say no, I gotta wait on that. It's a new white soldier because it opened and closed above yesterday's low. So I wanted to take that thing bearish, but I cannot. Sorry, I did not want to take it bearish. I wanted to place a bear call spread, but I am not yet convinced of the sideways and or bearish break. So I'll do that thing where I wait. And I know some people accuse me of waiting patiently. I do not wait patiently. I'm very impatient. But at any rate, so Ambarella is now a much more interesting candle than it was earlier today. Yesterday we placed a trigger that says, hey, if we break above this level, we can consider going directionally bullish. So I'll take that off, and we can place. What am I looking for? That. I'm not sure if you want to make this a stop or a protective put. Actually, I think I would, if we get below the wick of that guy, then I would consider a protective put, very short-term protective put, down to the bottom of this pattern. Notice how far away we are from this 10 EMA. I believe that means we are going to go sideways for a while. Maybe not quite that long, but if you're not in on Ambarella, it's up to you. Let me put it this way. If you're doing shares, I would not hate getting in now and perhaps selling a covered call up around 94. I anticipate this thing doing some sort of sideways to cup and handle type action for a week or two. Just because this has made an incredible bullish run. We had another break above today, and the intraday chart is, I guess it's a little bit more bullish than I had anticipated it to actually look. Let's figure out that picture. I love the location of this protective put because on the hourly, it is below this resistance, which has proven itself to be new support over here. So I do think if we get below this level here, what is that level? This 85.67 level on the hourly that we are in for a deeper dive, maybe down here to 82.70. Let's see what the oscillators are saying. I guess I mean Stokes and RSI. Let me switch it back to the daily. Interesting. Yeah, these things are pretty pegged. So again, I would call for some sideways action, maybe even I'd be hard pressed for a retrace, but if you're doing shares, you can get in now, sell a covered call up around 94. If you're thinking about options, you might wait a day or two because I do think that this thing will go sideways. I don't think it'll pop immediately tomorrow. Questions, thoughts, opposing views? Oh, and we do have earnings coming up. Yikes. So that does kind of change. Yeah, you know what? I bet this thing goes sideways until earnings. So that being said, well, at any rate, that's my viewpoints. Bill Allen says he's bullish on AMBA. So cool. I appreciate your inputs. If whatever you do, realize that earnings is coming up on June 2nd. Groovy like a smoothie. Let's see. We did Netflix. HD was looking interesting earlier today. Who called this one out? A real life trader called this one out. Angie or Dad, do you remember who did? Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson called this one to this guy. Very nice, buddy. Yeah, so this candle today is extremely interesting to me. I wish it were on higher volume, but notice we broke below this 100 simple moving average here. Double bottom. Neckline is this pivot point, which is proven significant back through here. Came above that neckline, retested nicely, and also bounced off the 100 simple moving average. Came up to this really freaky, weird, big bearish day. Now going sideways. This does look like a new white soldier bounce off a pivot point, off of a 100 simple moving average. There's a lot of support right here, is what I'm trying to say. A lot of support going into this thing. The only thing that makes me hesitate from going any further with this is that the volume is so low. Why is that volume half of the average volume this thing usually has? Let's just see what the option chain looks like, because I know some folks here like weekly bull put spreads. There's Home Depot, there's chain. Home Depot, 108 nothing. 110 would pay 3%. 111, it would be about the tightest we'd have to get. And 111, wow, 111 is like the low of today. Yeah, 111 is, no, we can't do 111. So unfortunately, I do not see a good bull put spread that I like on Home Depot. If we do get a move above 112.92 tomorrow, you might consider a longer term bull put spread down here around 106. Would just be divine if we could get that. But at any rate, it's up to you if you want to get in now on Home Depot. A move above 113, I think, would be much more reassuring that this thing is going to continue upwards. One other thing that some of the traders on the floor today noticed, and I have to adjust my picture quite a bit. Well, first of all, let's go back here to 2013. From about May of 2013 to August of 2014, Home Depot was the definition of sideways. I actually made several trades going from the top of the channel to the bottom, and then from the bottom back up to the top, and the top to the bottom. And actually, it was the inspiration for me to create a swing trading strategy, which I will be testing next. But all of that to say, some of the traders helped me find this, where that kind of looks like an A and a B, and then this could be the start of a C. So keep that in mind as you consider trading this. But today does look bullish, and a move above 113, especially with convincing volume. And I would be much more optimistic about a bullish move on Home Depot. Questions, thoughts, opposing views? Ford vacation time lowers volume? Absolutely it does. So Ford, I think, is pointing out that today is a short week, so a lot of stock traders may be on vacation this week, and that is, of course, another reason to slow down and be very diligent and careful about your trades, because there may be a lot more traders coming into the market next week, and you would not want to be trapped. Groovy like a smoothie. Let's see. Apple's always a popular one to look at and had a weird candle yesterday, if I remember correctly. So Apple, again, gives us one of these unconvincing candles with relatively low volume. It is a new white soldier because it did open and close below yesterday's low. And I would like a move upward or a little bit better volume before I got excited about a bullish move on Apple. As far as a bull put spread, I might be interested in a 126 if it pays well. If there are any stocks you guys on the floor want me to take a look at, go ahead and type them in and I'd be happy to mix it in. Yeah, 126 only pays a penny. In order to get any kind of decent premium, we'd have to get up into 130. Wow, and 130's like in today's range. So all of these option premiums being so incredibly low for put side definitely leads me to think that the market makers are more bullish than bearish. Right now, unfortunately, I don't have an optimistic view or a trade that I would like to place on Apple. Ford just looks like it's retesting this this trigger, the support that is just broken. Just a bunch of retesting. Is it really going to go down? Is it really going to go down? Actually, if you like trading Ford or these blue chips, sorry, I'm wanting to get some more data on my chart here before I make this claim. Here's what I'm seeing on Ford, a big kind of topping action here, which was confirmed here. This is the retest saying, wow, is that real? Is that really going to happen? And so all of that to say, let me draw some lines and then I'm going to place a directional trade. Let's see, the low is 15.14, 15.15. So with a close below 15.14, I would be more bearish than bullish on Ford Motor Company. Template, that would be trigger at the end of the day. And you could let's see, do a predictive call if that triggers and we get below here. And then a stop would go if you break that swing high. One thing that's kind of neat about this is if it does trigger bearish, these 100 and well, the 200's already in your favor, but that 100 and the rest of these exponentials are going to nosedive, and they're going to be providing resistance between you and getting stopped out on Ford Motor Company. The first target would be here. That would be target 1, so it's not the most glorious reward to risk ratio, but it is not awful. Now, Ford rarely has good premiums on options, but let's go check a look. What did I say? Check a look. Let's go see what a man. I guess it'd have to be a 16. There's not going to be premium in the 16 bear call spread, but we're here. Come on, Mr. Computer, you can do it. Interactive Brokers has advertisement so that my computer does its thing. Okay, refresh, show me Ford option change. There we go. So a bear call spread, yeah, doesn't pay any premium. No premiums on Ford. All right, what I'd actually I can't even attempt to say the word attempt. What I had, oh, Pat Kaufman, thank you for reminding me of that. Pat Kaufman says Ford just recalled 500,000 vehicles for power steering problems. And wasn't there a an airbag issue? The airbag was too strong and it was popping people in the face too hard. Or maybe that was another automaker. But typically, if one stock in an industry gets hammered, the rest of them tend to go down as well. At any rate, Facebook does look like it is trying to climb higher. Again, this bullish candle has absolutely no volume. However, if you did want a bear, you know what, I wonder if we could do an iron condor on Facebook. So we'd need a bull put spread at 76, a bear call spread 83, 2 days, 83 would work. 83.76 iron condor on Facebook. Okay, so for the bear call spread at 83, we would bring in nothing. At 76 for the bull put spread, we'd bring in nothing. Darn it. Okay, if you are in bullish on Facebook, I think it would be safe to move up your stop, or at least maybe a protective put there. Have your stop either right there below the 200 or below the wick of this guy. I think that'll definitely be good support. If you are bearish on Facebook, I would not be. I don't see enough in here to go bearish on Facebook. The bullish play, I would wait till I get a move upwards or even above this pivot point. Why is that pivot point there? That may be from pretty old data. Yeah, that's from old data. So I would move that pivot point up to there. Yeah, if we get a move above 81.77, I would be more bullish than bearish. Make that 81.87. I would be more bullish than bearish on Facebook, but until then, I am neutral. All right, so some stocks are being called out here on the trading floor. Wells Fargo. Is that Wells Fargo? That is Fargo. Oops, wrong one. Interesting and fun move upwards off of the 200, then off of the 100. I agree, this does look more bullish than bearish. The one thing that I'm concerned about right now about going bullish is this right here, to me, looks like this right here. Actually, let me redraw that. This right here kind of looks like this right here. So I'm trying to figure out what would I want to see before going more bullish on Wells Fargo. And I hate to say I'd want to see it make a new high. It actually has made a new high. Geez, I'd almost want it to come back down to the 100 again. So you can get in on a candle like that, or a candle like that. See how this one I drew had really high volume, and this one over here had decent volume, but the next one had really high volume. Those are the kind of candles you want to consider to go bullish on when they have a nice strong volume. When it has volume like that, that's not the candle that I want to go bullish on. So I think my Wells Fargo trade, my trade on WFC would be wait for change. Get it? Wait for change, WFC, it's the ticker, okay. For those of y'all that are, I know that's a bad joke, but for those of y'all that have been with me for a while, that's pretty good for Brad Reed. Wells Fargo bear call spread I would not do because this could move bullish. Would it break that high? 57, what would that look like? Bear call spread 57, no premium. And a bull put spread at 54, there's just going to be no premium there either, and there's not. Shucky darn. Pardon my language. All right, it's 3:26, guys. We got lots of time, so if you got things you want me to check out, go ahead and type it in. Chipotle Mexican Grill. Wow, nice break today. Nice bearish break. Okay, sorry for the silence. I'm just trying to gather my bearings on Chipotle. I really like this bearish candle here. Unfortunately, we're coming up on a very strong pivot point. So I don't know that now is the time to get in. But a move below this pivot point would certainly be more bearish than bullish in a very big way, I think. This candle here, the candle get in, and it did have the highest volume of anything in its recent history. Today had good volume as well. So very significant volume on the bearish candle. How do I make that bigger? Significant volume coming in on the bearish candles and bullish volume decreasing. So I am more bearish than bullish. I would really love this thing to come down to 607.55 and rest just a little bit. And then we could consider, I'm going to even place that over there saying, wait till that happens to trigger an end of day. And then your protective put, it would depend on what all these candles kind of look like. Why is that line there? That's a good place for that line. You certainly could put a protective put, or I would almost do a stop on this one. If you do have a protective call up here, it really could stop at any minute because you've got the 50 EMA, the 100 and 200 are going to be coming down here pretty quickly. When that 100 crosses the 200, which it may take another week or two, that would be extremely bearish. Let's see if we can squeeze in a bear call spread at 640 on CMG. Pat was looking at BRCM for a day trade today and was having internet problems, and it did exactly what she thought it would. Hey, Pat, congrats for recognizing the opportunity. All that does is just reaffirm that you know what you're doing and your plan works. And so pretty soon you'll find one that you can get into and your internet won't be sacking you. Yeah, not enough premium at 640. 635 for 2 days would not be hideous. But even that is not much premium, not enough premium on that one. So that would be my plan for Chipotle Mexican Grill. If you are in this bearish, I think a protective stop or stop there would be good. I do think this thing goes sideways. As far as selling a put, a covered put, 590 maybe. Questions, comments, thoughts, opposing views on CMG? Type them in. Otherwise, I will continue on. What does BRCM look like for a swing trade? Oh yeah, BRCM is this incredible, had this incredible run up today when a merger was approved or some new technology was approved. But yeah, Pat was looking at it right up here. She said, man, that's got to pull back. She was right, and it did pull back. BABA was doing some interesting things as of late. It has not triggered our trigger, didn't trigger the trigger. But the 50 EMAs coming in, I would consider doing a bear call spread. Overall, I'm bullish on this thing, so I would really I wonder if we can do a bull put spread. Did I say bull put spread up here? I would not do a bear call spread up here, even for short term, because the overall direction of the stock is up. It is bullish. I think this may be one of my favorite swing trades. And you know what? I'm going to make this just a tiny bit better. The low here is 95.52. Let's draw a line at 95.52. And I'm going to move my end of day trigger up above that. If there is a move above this previous support, which could be current resistance, if we get above that, then I would consider going in. And I would be more bullish than bearish. As of right now, if this thing were to continue down, it's certainly going to get some support here at 90.76, something or other. It's certainly going to get support at 88.78. The 100 simple is at 88.28. I wonder if we could do a 88.87 bull put spread on BABA. And here are these. And 88.87, there's no money. But I do like that trade set up quite nicely. Checking my notes here to see if there is anything else I wanted to take a look at before moving on. We had looked at Tata. Do not leave the page, please. Stay on the page. Thank you. TTM. And here we go. So very nice little resting pattern we got there on TTM. Still bearish, but resting. Now this one, I don't think TTM has great option premiums, but I would be, what? Okay, yeah, that's not gonna work. Sorry, I was considering a 40 41 bear call spread up here, but there's no premium. Okay, top movers. Move below that pivot, I would be more bearish than bullish. Something like that. And there's lots of areas in here where it could potentially come back to. If it did certainly move up into this area, I think I would place a stop and also turn around and go bullish. But I do think this thing goes sideways for another day or two before continuing bearish. But if it does get back up in this area, I would just reverse the position. Dump your puts or your shorts and go long. Take it back up. My dad says, if someone buys and then later sells on Wendy's for a profit, is that a win-win? I would say it, and I think it's a win-win the other way around. But my dad's got funnies. Sears Holding kind of reminds me of Ambarella here. I do like this pattern here. Big bullish candle yesterday, should have retested, but it retested with a white candle. So a continuation up, you are going to run into some resistance very soon. I think on Sears, I would like for this thing to roll down and then catch a bounce off of this and take it back up. So I can draw a target up here. But I would watch this thing to roll back down to 42.84 and then look for a new white soldier off of 42.84 with convincing volume. Like that was convincing volume right there. And then that would be more bullish than bearish. As a bull put spread, I would love one below 40.48. Maybe 40.50. I don't think Sears Holding has that small of a decimals or trades in 50 cents. It does though. What did I say? I said 40.50. So 40.50 is not offered, or those are calls. Puts 40.50 is offered, but there's no premium in it. So the fact that there's no premium in these bull put spreads really leads me to believe the option that the market makers are more bullish than bearish for what we are seeing. Pat says Sears reports tomorrow before the bell. I guess that's what this big dotted line is right on my face. So let's see what it does tomorrow. Man, I'm not real excited about much of anything because if it gaps down below this pivot, you are going to have this pivot in the 100 simple moving average to deal with very, very quickly. So that would be a difficult trade to pull off. I think that's about all that I see. So we'll, you know what, I'm not even going to call this or publish it. If it gaps up, you're going to have to deal with this wick over here. If it gaps up to here, then you're going to have to be concerned about a fade because that would be something like a 12% gap to get up above there. So not too excited about Sears, but thank you for that reminder, Pat. Google, we talked a little bit about yesterday. It did have a close above that 200 simple moving average. Volume is not great, but it's not as pathetic on some of the other candles that we have seen. Let's see what is going on in the 42.50 or 42 area for bull put spreads. I said 542, yeah. 542, 540 is even here. But let's see what our choices are. $542.50, 540. So I might sell this one at 30 and buy that one at 22. Well, that's only 8 cents. I would need 25 cents to get 15 cents. What rate of return is that? 0.15 divided by 2.35 is a 6% rate of return. That's not bad. So if you like 6% return for 542.50. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. That's just a little bit too tight. Okay, so for those that have a higher risk threshold than I do, if you did a bull put spread on Google 542.50, in 2 days you can bring in 6%. And I know a lot of people don't get excited about 6%, but 6% a month will double your portfolio in a year. And this will pay 6% in 2 days. So that's 542.50 by 540, do a 15-cent credit, and yeah, see what happens. The line in the sand would be a move below the 100 simple, which is 544.42 right now. So it's pretty tight, but I'm not going to do it because I want more sources of support between me and the short option. But like I said, if you have a higher risk threshold than I do, that trade is out there and waiting for you. So lots of interesting stocks gapping tomorrow. Anything else you guys want me to take a look at before I jump over to gapping stocks? Nike making an interesting roll down. You know, if I'd sit on the daily, I'm all over that. When I see this, when I'm day trading, I will take that bearish every single time. Unfortunately, it's already broken. It broke 2 days ago, or broke yesterday. So I think the play for Nike would be to see what it does when it gets down to this 101 area. I guess that's almost close to 102. See if it'll bounce again like it did here. See that candle? That's a bounce candle. That's the candle I want to see. That one right there. It has a neat little gap, long lower tail. It closes above the wicks of these others. It is a new white soldier. And check out the volume. Now it's not this big one, it's this one right here. But the volume is not the wussy small pathetic candles that we're seeing on other things. So I think this thing will do one of those kind of rollovers that I was talking about on a few others. And then it bounces. If it does close below here. Watch for it to bounce on the 50 or maybe this pivot point. But I think Nike's going to go bearish to sideways, very short term. Overall, I think buy the bounce when we see it on Nike. Questions, thoughts, opposing views? Let me know. I wonder if there's any kind of bear call spread above 105. Nike again doesn't have a lot of option premium, but let me check it out and then we'll go look at gap setups for tomorrow. So bear calls, I think I said above 105. Whew, yep, no money. All right, so Costco is gapping tomorrow, having earnings announcement after the bell today. This pivot point is not as significant, I would think. Let's see, I'm in light blue. Okay, let me draw this light blue line up here at 149.40. That's kind of my marker to say, hey, you might come into something there, but it's not very strong. 147.56 on this one, 147.56. Okay, sorry about that. A gap up that would clear the EMAs and this 100 simple. I would be interested in a retest gap if it clears 147.56. If it gaps down below the bottom of this wick, which is 141.53, I would be interested in some flavor of a gap and go. 141.53. Definitely will need to watch out for the 200 simple moving average, as this will be a very significant target. If it were to gap below the 200 simple, that would be amazingness. Yeah, I think a gap below well, you'd be running into some congestion in here. This candle today leads me to believe that it's likely to gap up if it anywhere close to meets expectations. But we'll see. It'll do what it does and we'll react to it from there. A gap below 138.22 would be a very nice gap and go. A gap above 147.56 would be a nice little retest gap on Costco. Next is that Panera? No, Palo Alto Networks. So the high of yesterday, 165.09. So a gap above that would be a nice gap and go. I don't know if I'd take it right out of the gate because it doesn't look like anyone's trapped. I would say these two bearish candles here are more of the bullish traders closing out their positions rather than folks coming into this pivot point and say, oh, it's going to go bearish, and then they kind of jump in and get trapped. If it gaps, I'm not really sure if I like any gap downs because you're going to run into the EMAs as support, and then you're going to run into the SMAs. So I don't think I would trade it bearish if it gaps that way. But if a gap over 165.09 on Palo Alto Networks, PANW, would be more bullish than bearish in my point of view. And I'd be watching it for setup. Express, the clothing store, I'm assuming, is having earnings tomorrow. For this one, if it gaps down below 1604 by just a little bit, that would be a fun retest gap. But certainly want to watch out for this 100 simple moving average. That would definitely be the target at which I would get out. And if it gaps up, that would be a gap and go, but I really think I would want it to clear. I think as long as it clears 1762, I think gap and goes tend to have a little bit more fire in them than retest gaps because people are trapped. So I don't think this pivot over here is as important as this pivot because it's a gap and go. And for a retest gap, absolutely, I'd be right up here. Due to this long lower tail here, I'm assuming there are buyers. In fact, I see this candle moving up right now. So there are going to be some people profitable, even though it's a gap and go. So give them time to, give the day traders time to close out their positions. RY is also have an announcement. Royal Bank of Canada. By the way, if you are in Canada, especially anywhere close to Toronto, I think I saw an email that says Jeremy Newsom is coming to Toronto on June 12th. So be aware of that. Partying with Jeremy is, I say partying, I should say meeting, excuse me. Meeting with Jeremy is an epic experience.
Nice
The
save.
guy is fun.
Sweet save.
Well, in case the IRS is listening, no, Jeremy's fun to hang out with. I kind of like the way this is setting up because both EMAs are at nice pivot points. Gap down, yeah, gap down would have to be below that 100 simple for me to be interested, and a gap up would have to be above 67.49. Now, if this thing retests and gets below that 200 simple, I would not take any bullish trades unless it is above that 200 simple moving average. So if it gaps just below this pivot and during its retest comes below that, watch out. It looks like Dang is going to do some earnings up in here. That's a lot of lines. One more line and it's a musical staff. Whee! Let's draw some notes. Okay. I would really like a gap up above 1110. That would almost be too good to be true. Because this is some flavor of a gap and go. Again, I'm assuming this long lower tail means buyers coming in at the end of today. As far as a bearish gap, if that thing gapped from 1052 down to 877, that would be a tremendous gap in a bad way, meaning it may provide more buying pressure than anything. Yeah, that would be like a 15-20% gap at that location. I guess it could come into support. Okay, I'm not going to trade it bearish. ANF, what is that Abercrombie and Fitch? Okay, let's see, I don't need this anymore. So a bullish gap above 2356 would actually be a gap and go of epicness. if that's word. Because what I'm seeing here is, see how this thing is accelerating downwards? That means people are getting in bearish. I mean, they're selling it. There's no bullish traders that are selling for a profit. So people are dumping this thing like crazy. And I just got to think that as fast as this thing is picking up speed going down, that those are bearish traders getting in, short traders getting in. So if this thing were to gap up, they would all be trapped. And now I guess I pause to think, would I be interested in this thing above 2271 or even maybe above there? I don't know, hard to say. If it gaps up, consider your trading plan. But certainly if it gapped up above the 100 simple moving average and the pivot point of this day for the last 3 months, that would be crazy kinds of bullish. Now, if this thing does gap down below 1934, I would carefully consider a retest gap. Why do I say carefully? Because if a lot of people are getting in bearish, their goal is probably to buy to close when it gets down to this area where it got here. So if it gaps below there, there may be a lot of people that are profitable beyond their hopes, and they may buy it to close it out. Obviously, that would be the retest, but if it rolls over, certainly be ready to take it on down. So Abercrombie & Fitch looks pretty nice, but I would say it'll be a little bit more higher difficulty of the day trades due to all the congestion and EMAs, unless it clears that pivot point at 2356, and that would be awesomeness. How many left do I have? Okay, just 2 left. I'm looking at the time and starting to get a little worried. Trying to figure out the pivot point that I would want before I give up on Seadrill. Seadrill, again, is one of these gap and goes that has been going bearish for a while. So there would be some people trapped if it went up. And I guess what I would say on some of these stocks that have been moving down, if they gap up, the lower they gap, the earlier their move is going to be. So if this thing gaps up maybe just above this candle, you know, and you get in, you can trade it up to about this pivot point, but that'll be quick and that'll be early. I would not trade it late in the day unless it jumps up above this pivot point up here. I hope that made sense to at least someone. I'm not sure if I was eloquent at all. I'm usually not when I'm thinking and talking at the same time, but it is what it is. Yeah, gap up to there would be nice. Watch out for the 200 simple moving average as your target. As far as a gap down, we do run into that issue of congestion, but I think if it clears this pivot point at 1055, I would be more comfortable with a bearish move. And by more comfortable meaning, I wouldn't take it unless it opens below 1055 on Seadrill. Seadrill is a fun one to trade because it usually follows the rules, meaning it gaps. If it gaps in a certain direction, it usually continues. Some stocks do weird stuff, and some stocks follow the rules. Seadrill is one that's fun to watch. And I guess we already talked about Sears Holding Company. If this thing were to gap up above this, that would be a large gap. Okay, I have a little better perspective now that I got to clear my brain, which doesn't happen very often. Watch these pivot points at 44.72. And this one at 46.23. I think depending on where this thing opens, depends on how I would trade this one. So if it opens on the low side, sorry, if it opens above, slightly above one of these lines that I've drawn, then I would be more bullish than bearish. If it opens in the middle to the top range of one of these lines, then I would be, well, I wouldn't trade it bullish. If this thing does break bearish, it would be gap and go-ish. Actually, it would be a gap and go. So let's call that 40.55. I know I'm running late. I'm going to be done here in just a few seconds, and this one will be a target. So I'll come back. So if it gaps below 40.55, consider a bearish play. Watch out for 30.78 because I think that is going to be a significant target. That's 38.78. Cool. Hey guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate all of your help. I appreciate you guys sharing your trades with me. You guys have certainly made me money this month. The morning floor is at 1076, almost 11R for the month. The afternoon floor, close to 3.5. Maybe tomorrow we can find some day trades and bump that up. But man, guys, I so greatly appreciate y'all being here. I hope you have an epic day. I'll be sending these emails out pretty soon. And as always, trade on logic, not on hope. Have a good one, buddy. Let's see. My computer is frozen. All right. Have a good one.